So we're picking this up when Duryodhana, the 8th day of the war, Duryodhana on the 8th day of the war, supported by several of his brothers, they attacked Bhima. Bhima killed 8 of them, one by one. Duryodhana lamented to Bhishma, my brothers are being killed by Bhima and you don't seem to be doing anything. He told this again, please do something. Bhishma replied, don't you realize that the only reason I'm fighting is because of my love for you? The only reason I'm fighting is because I'm loyal to this kingdom and my love for you. I could have easily stayed away from this war. Bhishma said that I could have easily stayed away from this war. Drona could have done the same. You remember Balarama stayed away from the war? Yeah? Bhishma could have done the same. Drona could have done the same. We fight because we care about you. Don't think about your loss, Duryodhana. Set your heart on the battle ahead of you and fight. This is a very quintessential lesson for all of us. We may do well in an exam, we may do poorly in an exam. We may do well in a quiz, we may do poorly in a quiz. On some days when we want something, we may not get that. But always the prudent thing to do is to set your sight, set your goal on the next thing to do and focus on that rather than focus on what did not happen or what did not happen well. It's very good advice by Bhishma to Duryodhana. Well, of course, we all know that Duryodhana is not the guy who's going to follow every advice he gets. After some time, on the same day, on the 8th day, Iravan. Do you guys remember this character called Iravan? Any of you remember? Yes, no? Yes or no?
No.
No, Iravan was the son born to Arjuna and the Naga princess Pulupi when Arjuna went on an exile for many years. Iravan was also fighting in this war. Iravan fought Shakuni and almost killed him. But Iravan was ready to kill him, but Duryodhana summoned Alambusha. Alambusha was another Rakshasa on the Kaurava side. The Rakshasa fought Iravan and killed him. Seeing his cousin dead, seeing Iravan dead, Iravan's cousin was Ghatotkacha. Iravan was Arjuna's son. Ghatotkacha was Bhima's son. And therefore, Iravan and Ghatotkacha were
monsters.
Cousins. Arjuna and Bhima were brothers. Okay, we got to go back to like kindergarten. Arjuna and Bhima were brothers. Therefore, Arjuna's son and Bhima's son would be cousins. Ghatotkacha was so furious to see his cousin dead. He roared with such might that mountains and oceans trembled. Armies on both sides stopped fighting for a second because they got so scared. Ghatotkacha assumed a huge form and threw himself on the Kaurava army. He was joined by many of his Rakshasa friends. The Kaurava army could not bear the Maya of Ghatotkacha, his Maya tricks. Ghatotkacha was a Rakshasa and therefore he had a lot of magic tricks up his sleeve. They could not bear it. They shuddered in fear. Duryodhana stormed in to face the Rakshasa himself. Arjuna came to know of Iravan's death. Arjuna was Iravan's father, and he told Krishna, my son is dead. My son is dead. I'm unable to bear this sorrow. Now I understand why Vidura advised so strongly against the war. Now I understand why Yudhishthira was ready to forego anything, kingdom, he was ready to let go of it. He was ready to accept 5 cities. He was ready to accept 5 villages. He was ready to give up so much to avert war. He tried so hard. Now I understand why. Unfortunately, I am a Kshatriya. My duty is to fight. Focus. Arjuna felt so sad that his son had gone. But he said, I am a Kshatriya and therefore it is my duty to fight. Lead me to the heart of Duryodhana's army. I will decimate them today. By sunset, Arjuna had killed another 1,000 soldiers and Bhima had killed another 8 of the Kaurava brothers. Therefore, Duryodhana was even more sad that night, the 8th day of the war, that night. That night, Duryodhana went to Karna and told him, Karna, I'm so sad today, and nothing is going right in this war. Bhishma and Drona are not ready to kill the Pandavas. They are not fighting their best. And the others are incapable of it. You are my only hope. What should I do? And Karna said, Bhishma and Drona and Kripacharya are mentally weak, even if they are physically strong. They are mentally weak. Only I can kill Arjuna. Only I can kill Arjuna. Karna said this. And then he said, you are certain of achieving victory, Duryodhana, but I have to come and fight. But as long as Bhishma is there, I cannot come and fight. That was the deal. So go tonight itself and ask Bhishma to retire from the war. I will come and fight. He told that to Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, okay, and he went to Bhishma's tent. So, is that a good thing to do? Asking Bhishma to retire so Karna can fight?
No, not at all.
No? Why?
Yes, because he had that dart to kill Arjuna.
He has a dart to kill Arjuna. Awesome. Yeah, he has a special dart that can kill Arjuna. Sure. That's one reason. Why is it not good?
Because he's not that powerful.
Yeah, Bhishma is he's really, really powerful, right? The only thing he said was, I won't kill the 5 Pandavas, but he was still fighting the rest of the army to his fullest might. He was still doing that. Could Karna have fought the rest of the army, the entire 7 Akshauhinis, the way Bhishma did?
No.
No, not really. Bhishma was way more skilled. Yeah, Bhishma was way more skilled and he was doing all that. But Duryodhana was in such panic. He was ready to make any decision, even though he didn't fully think through the consequences of that decision, consequences of making such a request. He went to Bhishma's tent and he said, Bhishma, I went into this war with you as my hope. If you don't kill the Pandavas, we can't win. Please kill them. If you are adamant about protecting them, please allow Karna to fight. Look at the words he's using. He's saying, please kill the Pandavas. He knows Bhishma will say no. And then he's saying, if you don't want to kill the Pandavas, let Karna fight, which means he has to retire. So 2 things he's not said. He said, Bhishma, you're not good anymore. And he's not said, Bhishma, you retire. Instead, he's kind of twisting the words. He's saying, please kill the Pandavas. If you're not ready to do it, let Karna fight. Let Karna fight means you retire. You know how he's kind of twisting the same message, but saying it in a different way. Bhishma, of course, he's such a smart guy. He understood what Duryodhana was saying. He said he was severely affected by Duryodhana's words. He said, why do you pierce me with your sharp tongue? Why do you pierce me with such words? I'm fighting every day without regard for my own life. And yet you doubt me. Do you not realize that it was the combination of Arjuna and Krishna who defeated Indra? Do you remember that story? Arjuna and Krishna defeated Indra, where Arjuna got the Gandiva bow, Krishna got the Sudarshana Chakra.
And also, he had that fire thing.
The forest the size of Texas. Yeah, that was
But Indra stopped it.
Indra didn't really stop. The whole forest was destroyed. Agni burned the forest. Arjuna and Krishna stopped Indra and Indra's army. And Bhishma reminded, do you not realize that it was Arjuna and Krishna that defeated the great Indra in support of Agni in the Khandava forest? They are invincible. They cannot be killed. Why don't you get it, Duryodhana? Who saved you? He reminded Duryodhana. Who saved you from the Gandharvas in the forest? Who saved Duryodhana from the Gandharvas?
The Pandavas.
The Pandavas. Arjuna saved them. Yeah. And then he said, how about after the 13th year, when all of us went to the Virata kingdom, who defeated all of us single-handedly? Who defeated them?
Pandavas.
Arjuna, only Arjuna. Remember, Arjuna came with Uttara, the prince. Uttara was the charioteer, Arjuna was the charioteer, and then Arjuna told Uttara, you ride my chariot, I will fight.
Gave up. And then nobody joined him.
Nobody, yeah, exactly. And then Arjuna defeated them. Bhishma paused and then he said, my allegiance, my loyalty is with you, Duryodhana. My love lies with the Pandavas and the Kauravas. You are both descendants of my father. You are both descendants of my father, King Shantanu's generation. And therefore, I can't kill any of you. But he made a promise. Bhishma said, tomorrow I will fight such a war. I will fight such a war against the Pandava army. And I will fight every single one of them except Shikhandi. Because Shikhandi was born a woman and I won't fight. Except Shikhandi, I will fight every single person. And I will fight such a battle that about which people will speak about for generations to come. For centuries to come. As long as the world lasts, people will speak about it. I will fight such a battle. Duryodhana was satisfied with this reply and he went to sleep that day. he told his brother before going to sleep, he said, tomorrow Bhishma is going to fight an amazing battle. Whatever happens, we all should support Bhishma tomorrow. The next day resumed. Bhishma began to consume the Pandava armies, rank after rank after rank, by the hundreds, by the thousands. He plowed ahead, he marched ahead, he fired arrows in every direction. His chariot could not be stopped by anybody. At the same time, Arjuna, there was another army on the Kaurava side called the Trigarta army. Arjuna was kept busy by that army. Therefore, he couldn't really come and fight Bhishma that day. Go ahead, Dakshan. Quick.
Are we going to be doing Abhimanyu? Sorry.
Not yet. Dakshan, you have to wait for the story to follow its own course, right? We can't jump stories and cover Abhimanyu and come back to this. We will. All right. So Bhishma was plowing through the Pandava ranks and nobody was able to stop him. Dhrishtadyumna, Virata, Drupada, Shikhandi, everybody tried fighting Bhishma. Nobody could stop him. Satyaki, Yudhishthira, other brothers, the 5 sons of Draupadi, everybody fought him. He was outnumbered. Bhishma was surrounded and he was outnumbered. Nobody could stop him. Bhishma was surrounded by elephants, chariots, soldiers, horses, everybody. Nobody could stop him. Dushasana and Shakuni came and supported Bhishma. Duryodhana saw this and said, Shalya, the Pandavas are attacking Bhishma. Let's go and support them. Everybody supported him. And everybody fought him. Nobody could fight Bhishma that day. And Krishna saw this and he told Arjuna, look, your army is fleeing. Fight Bhishma. Arjuna went and fought Bhishma again. Krishna rode his chariot towards Bhishma. Arjuna went and fought him again. On seeing Arjuna approaching Bhishma, the entire Pandava army sighed relief. He said, oh my God, thank God Arjuna is here. Now at least Bhishma can slow down. At least Arjuna will make Bhishma slow down, even if he cannot stop him. But even this day, Arjuna did not fight Bhishma to his fullest. Krishna lost his patience again. He jumped off his chariot and he said, today I'll kill Bhishma. Arjuna ran after him and stopped him again and said, I'm sorry, I know I'm making a mistake. I know that I'm not fighting my fullest. Today I will fight my fullest. Please, wait. And so Krishna cooled down again. They came back, Arjuna started fighting. At sunset that day, the Pandava army was shattered by Bhishma. Yudhishthira, as soon as the sun went down, he announced retreat. He said, stop the fight. Back at the Pandava camp, Yudhishthira was in real deep sorrow. Why was he in sorrow?
Because they lost.
They lost
thousands of lives.
They lost that day very badly. The worst of the entire war was that day. The ninth day. That night, Yudhishthira could not. He said, Krishna, look at our army. Look at my brothers. So many soldiers in the army is dead. All my brothers are injured. Bhishma has not spared anyone. When he is in the battlefield, it is like Yamadeva himself roaming around. Nobody can stop him. We can't defeat him. My only choice is to go back in exile. I don't want to fight this impossible war anymore. This entire army is going to be destroyed by Bhishma. And Krishna said, do not worry. You are a powerful warrior. You have Arjuna by your side, Bhima by your side, Nakula and Sahadeva by your side. They can defeat anybody. They can kill Bhishma. Don't worry. Yudhishthira said, but you're speaking such consoling words. But how? Like so many people are dying because of me. How do I win this? How do I defeat Bhishma? I have no answer. And then Yudhishthira instinctively said, only one person knows how to defeat Bhishma. Who's that person?
Arjuna.
If Arjuna knew, he would have done it.
Yudhishthira. Krishna.
Nope.
Yudhishthira.
Nope.
Nakula.
Nope.
Sahadeva.
Nope.
Khandi. Himself.
Who himself?
Bhishma.
only Bhishma himself knows
That's
how
what I
to
said.
defeat Bhishma. Yes, that's what you said. I know. I heard you. Only Bhishma knows how to defeat Bhishma. So Yudhishthira said, let us go and ask Bhishma how we can defeat him. They said, cool. And all of them, all the five Pandavas, focus very carefully. All the five Pandavas and Krishna, they dressed themselves in normal clothes, not, fighting clothes and armor. They shed everything, princely clothes. They dressed themselves in normal clothes and they went to Bhishma's tent in the Kaurava army. It's so strange, right? Isn't this strange? Going and asking somebody who's fighting against you.
Enemy.
Yeah, asking your enemy, how do I defeat you? And would you expect an answer? Wouldn't Bhishma just laugh it off? Like, why are you asking me? If you're so powerful, fight me in the battlefield.
Since Bhishma.
But Bhishma was their enemy only in the battlefield. Outside of battle, who was he to the Pandavas? Grandfather. They all entered Bhishma's tent. Listen carefully. They all entered Bhishma's tent. Bhishma saw the five Pandavas and he saw them and he exclaimed in joy, welcome Krishna, welcome Yudhishthira, oh Bhima and Arjuna, you guys are here. And the twins, what a surprise. I'm so happy to see you. Just for a moment, remember how your grandmom and granddad feel when they see you. How do they react when they see you?
Happy.
Excited,
happy, they're joyous, they're like so, they just can't contain their joy. That's exactly how Bhishma felt. He saw his grandsons and he saw Krishna. The warrior Bhishma that the army had seen during the day had disappeared. The fury, the rage, the power, the arrows and all that, nowhere to be seen. This was their grandfather. The man who raised them when they had lost their father Pandu, lovingly. The man who raised them every single day, taught them every single day. All of them sat around Bhishma. They all sat on the floor. Bhishma sat there. And then Bhishma started inquiring, how are you doing? What can I do for you? It's so awesome that you guys are here. Ask anything and I will grant it to you. And then Yudhishthira spoke. He said, dear grandfather, you are aware of everything. There is injustice that is being done by the Kauravas on us. We have to win this war. It is our dharma. We have to fight this war and we have to win this war. But we don't know how to win this war. You don't give us even a moment to breathe in the battlefield. Focus. Isn't this true? Does Bhishma give any of the Pandavas a moment to breathe and relax and strategize?
No.
That's what Yudhishthira said. You don't even give us a moment to breathe there. You're everywhere. You're decimating us. Please tell us how to defeat you. We are unable to bear your fury in battle. Bhishma smiled and said, Yudhishthira, listen to Bhishma's reply. Said, Yudhishthira, you're right. As long as I'm alive, you cannot win this battle. Once I'm dead, victory is yours. When I'm armed with my bow and arrows, I conduct myself very strategically. You cannot defeat me. See how confident he is. And then he says, the only way to defeat me is to make me put aside my weapons and drop my guard. If you make me do that, you can defeat me. And then he said, there are a few circumstances in which I don't fight. I don't fight against somebody who's unarmed. If the other person is not armed, I don't fight him. He has to be armed. Then only I will fight him. I don't fight somebody who's not protected himself, who doesn't have an armor. I don't fight somebody who's already fallen. So somebody's fallen from their chariot, unable to defend themselves, I don't fight. I don't also fight with somebody who was born as a woman. Who was born as a woman? Shikhandi. So see, Bhishma is giving a clue. The Pandavas respectfully bowed to Bhishma after spending some time with him and left. Arjuna was burning with grief that night. He said, how can I fight with my grandfather? He's the senior most in that clan. I used to play on his lap as a child. Now he's just told us a way to kill him and we have to execute it tomorrow. How can I do that? Krishna consoled Arjuna and said, this is your dharma. It was a sleepless night for the Pandavas. Even though in the Kaurava camp, Duryodhana was extremely happy. Bhishma had fought the best day of his life. Duryodhana was extremely happy. The Pandavas could not sleep a wink. Why couldn't they sleep?
Because they have to kill their grandfather tomorrow.
They had to kill Bhishma, and now did they know how to do it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. They have a clue. So the start of the 10th day, it was very different from other days. Listen carefully. At the start of the 10th day, at the head of the Pandava army, usually at the head of the Pandava army, it was either Arjuna or Bhima or Dhrishtadyumna. Today, it was Shikhandi at the head of the Pandava army. It was unusual. Duryodhana didn't know what was happening. Why Shikhandi is the head of the... Bhishma, as usual, charged ahead. The war started. Bhishma, as usual, charged ahead at the Pandava army with all his might. He was fearless. Shikhandi rode even faster and met Bhishma and struck him with 3 arrows. Bhishma turned around. Who shot me? It was Shikhandi. He said, I will not fight you. And he looked somewhere else and started fighting. Shikhandi did not stop. He kept showering arrows on Bhishma. Arjuna urged Shikhandi, keep fighting. That is the way, keep fighting. Bhishma did not yield to Shikhandi's advances. He continued to fight other parts of the Pandava army. It was like Bhishma went somewhere, kept fighting the army. Shikhandi was running behind him. Please fight me, please fight me. With his bow and arrow. His chariot was chasing Bhishma. Bhishma's chariot was maneuvering through the Pandava army with such speed. Everybody else had to follow him to fight him. That's how fast Bhishma was going. Arjuna goaded Shikhandi, keep fighting him. I will join you in the attack. With Shikhandi at the head, Arjuna also charged towards Bhishma. Bhishma saw. So watch this carefully. It was Bhishma on this side, Shikhandi here, and behind Shikhandi was Arjuna. Where was Arjuna? Behind Shikhandi.
Behind you.
Arjuna began to attack Bhishma from behind Shikhandi by sending an arrow. It cut Bhishma's bow into 2. Bhishma picked up another bow. Arjuna's arrow cut that too. Arjuna's arrow started piercing Bhishma's armor in several places. Bhishma turned to Dushasana and said, look, Dushasana, these arrows that are striking me now are not that of Shikhandi. They belong to Arjuna. Bhishma knew the difference between the force with which the arrow was striking him. With that, he knew whose arrow it was. He knew when Shikhandi's arrow was striking him, it was probably hitting his armor and falling off. When Arjuna's arrow was striking him, it was piercing his armor. He knew the difference. Bhishma was talking about his grandson, Arjuna, with so much pride. Bhishma hurled a javelin at Arjuna, but Arjuna shot some arrows that cut the javelin into 3. Bhishma picked up his sword and his shield, but before he could get off his chariot, Arjuna's arrows cut the sword into 2 and shattered the shield. Bhishma's bow was gone. His javelin was gone. His sword was gone.
What
His
is a
shield was
javelin?
gone. Listen carefully.
What
His
is a
shield was
javelin?
gone. He knew that his time had come. He knew his time had come. He remembered his father's boon. What boon did Bhishma's father give Bhishma? What boon?
He gets to choose. He can choose the date and time. He
To choose his date and time of death. When he was still Devavrata, said, "Oh Devavrata, I give you a boon that you can choose your date and time of death. You're not an ordinary person. You're a special person." Bhishma no longer wished to fight. He knew his time had come. Great rishis from the heavens came to witness this, and they spoke in a whisper that only Bhishma could hear. They said, "Son, we approve of your decision. Withdraw from battle. Your time has come." Bhishma smiled. The entire Pandava army came. The entire Kaurava army was coming to support Bhishma, but his time had come. He knew that. Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, they all surrounded the Kaurava army, stopped everybody from coming to support Bhishma. Shikhandi kept striking arrows at Bhishma. 9 sharp arrows, 12 sharp arrows, 15 sharp arrows. Bhishma remained unmoved like a mountain. Arjuna continued to attack Bhishma. He sent 20 arrows. Then another dozen. They kept attacking Bhishma. Bhishma did not fight back. At one point, there was not even a space of 2 fingers width between the arrows that hit Bhishma. He was like a porcupine. Have you guys seen a porcupine?
Yes.
No? Who's not seen a porcupine?
In pictures, yes.
You've seen a porcupine? How many of you have seen a porcupine?
In real life?
No, in pictures.
Oh, yeah, in picture, yes.
Yeah, in pictures. Yeah, I've never seen a porcupine in real life. I've seen pictures. You see, remember how a porcupine looks? That's how Bhishma looked. But it was all with arrows, completely pierced. His body looked like a porcupine. Arrows stuck to him on every side. And then he was still smiling, and he fell from his chariot. Pierced with arrows from all sides, Bhishma's body did not fall on the ground. Because of the arrows, he fell on the arrows. He was actually lying on a bed of arrows. He fell. He fell down. Let's take a moment here and think about this. Think about this entire life of this person. Shantanu met a person called Ganga, goddess Ganga, Ganga Devi. 7 children were killed, and then the 8th son survived. Ganga raised him for a few years, came back and gave him back to King Shantanu and said his name was Devavrata. That was the beginning. Devavrata was so happy with his father Shantanu. Shantanu was so happy with Devavrata. One day, when Shantanu wanted to get married to Satyavati, Devavrata made a promise so that his father could be happy. I will never get married. I give up my right to the kingdom, and I give up my right to married life because I want my father to be happy. He came to be known as Bhishma. Shantanu and Satyavati married. They had 2 children, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. When the time came for Vichitravirya to get married, Bhishma went to Kashi and kidnapped the 3 sisters. Who are the 3 sisters?
Amba,
Ambika and Ambalika. See what all he did, all the good and the bad. He did an awesome thing by making a promise to his father, and then he kidnapped 3 sisters. Against their wishes, Amba swore revenge on Bhishma because Bhishma had messed up her life. She was reborn as Shikhandi. Bhishma was raising later on, much later, Kauravas and Pandavas were born. Bhishma raised them. Even though the Pandavas did not have their father, he raised all of them together. He was the one who appointed Drona. He was the one who appointed Drona as the teacher. All this time, Duryodhana had started expressing jealousy towards the Pandavas. Bhishma did nothing. Remember when Duryodhana tried to burn the Pandavas in the wax palace? Yes?
Yes.
Bhishma did nothing, even though he knew. At that time, he thought that the Pandavas were dead. He didn't do anything to Duryodhana. He didn't ask Dhritarashtra to discipline Duryodhana. He did nothing. And after all these years, even when he knew that the Kauravas were on the bad side, Bhishma did not. What did he not do? He could have done so many things. What could he have done?
He didn't tell Duryodhana.
Yeah. He could have disciplined. He was his grandfather, right? He could have said so many things. When Draupadi was humiliated in the assembly, he could have stopped it. He did not. And finally, when his own grandchildren came and asked him, what is the means to your death? His love for his grandchildren came out and he told them, this is my way to my death. Was that the right thing to do or wrong thing to do?
Right.
The right thing to do. So on the whole, if you see Bhishma, did he do all right things or all wrong things, or did he do a combination of both?
Combination of both.
This is the microcosm. This is a sample of all our lives. We are a bundle of right things and wrong things. Good thoughts and bad thoughts. You guys always have good thoughts, or sometimes do you have bad thoughts?
Bad thoughts.
Sometimes bad thoughts.
Sometimes bad
Yeah,
thoughts.
it happens. When it happens, it is extremely important to push the bad thoughts away and replace them with good thoughts. Get very angry. Maybe be intensely playing a video game, and your mom or dad will say, "Come and eat dinner." All you want is another 5 minutes. You get so angry, but it's important to push the thought of anger away. It's important to push the thought of anger away. And remember not to get angry. Because that thought of anger will turn into words and then will turn into action. If you push it away when it happens, when it is a thought, the impact is not that much. And when the time comes to do something right, you have to do something right. Not keep quiet like Bhishma did. He did a few wrong things. Kidnap Amba, Ambika, Nambalika. He did a few wrong things by keeping quiet when Draupadi was humiliated, when Duryodhana was jealous. He also did some things right. He made an unselfish promise to his father. And when his grandsons asked him, we have to win this war. We are on the side of Dharma. Please tell us how to defeat you. He told them. He gave them a clue how to defeat him. Everybody was sad. Everybody was sad. Bhishma had fallen. Duryodhana could not believe it. What had just happened? Bhishma has fallen. Was that even possible? Nobody could believe it. The Pandavas came. Everybody was crying. The war stopped immediately. Everybody was crying. They were all sad that their grandfather Bhishma had fallen. And Bhishma told Duryodhana, Duryodhana, let this be a turning point in your life. At least now, stop the war. See, the Pandavas cannot be stopped for a very simple reason. They are on the right side. The right side always wins. The side of Dharma always wins. It doesn't matter how many powerful warriors you have, they are going to win. Stop the war now. Bhishma said, I'm thirsty. I need some water. So Duryodhana asked his servants to bring water. They brought water in gold jars to Bhishma. And Bhishma said, this is not the water I want. Only Arjuna knows what water I want. Immediately, Arjuna invoked the mantra, raised an arrow and shot it on the ground. And from the ground came Ganga. And that water, as a fountain, it came out and went straight into Bhishma's mouth. Bhishma pointed that. Look at that. Nobody knows this mantra. Only Arjuna does. He's extremely skilled, extremely powerful. There's no way you can win this war. And then he said, my head is hanging down. Head was the only thing that did not have any arrows in it. My head is hanging down. I need something to rest my head. Immediately, the Kauravas brought pillows, soft, silky pillows. None of these pillows fit a Kshatriya. Arjuna, give me a pillow. Arjuna immediately shot arrows behind Bhishma's head and they placed Bhishma's head on top of those arrows. Arjuna shot arrows on the ground, they placed his head on those arrows. And then he said, I'm going to retire for the night. I'm going to meditate in peace. All of you, go home. All of you, go home. Isn't this like a sad thing?
Yes.
Kind of sad, right? It is sad. It's important to remember in life, good things happen, bad things also happen. That is life all around us. Just like nice, good, awesome things happen. New schools come up, new shops come up, new ice cream flavors come up. Similarly, war also happens in life. It happens. And we will get affected when bad things happen. But the important thing is to remind ourselves of our own duties and focus on them. My duty today. What is your duty today? What are your guys' duties today? What is your dharma?
To obey my parents.
Obey your parents. What else?
Go to sleep.
Go
Class.
to school and do your
Listen
homework.
to my
Go to
parents.
school, do your homework, sleep on time. How about making your bed? Yes, no?
Sometimes I don't make my bed.
Yeah, but is it your duty? Is it your dharma to make your bed?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh.
Waking up when the alarm rings the first time, not snoozing.
Yeah.
Your dharma.
I don't have alarms.
That's good. But if you do, when your mom or dad says it's time for dinner, immediately coming. If they say, please put away your plates, immediately doing it. All part of your dharma. Those are the things to remember and focus on, regardless of what good things or bad things are happening around us. Because these are the things that are in our control. How can I live a more dharmic life, a better life? Can you guys remember something when you go back? Remember and write this down. Just write down in a sheet of paper, what is my dharma? Whatever you guys come up with is fine. What is my dharma? It could be listen to my parents, do my homework, be a good student, whatever you guys think. Make my bed, whatever you think. And can you send it once you're done? Yeah? Ask your parents to send it. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kachit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.